Greetings, YouTube, friends, subscribers, colleagues, scientists, like minded humanity, all those on the greater endeavor for the greater good of humanity and more. It's Tuesday, March the 3rd, 2026. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another Shadowburn broadcast. Well, I'm not going to make this too long, but I'm going to try to focus on a few key points about some quick observations today. And also thank anyone and everyone for joining and participating in today's broadcast. So today's topics are basically about the live feeds from space, our current war, and AI. I don't know about anyone else, but AI is becoming extremely annoying right now. And you see the same patterns repeating themselves over and over and over again. The same phrases, the same ads, the same voiceovers. It's just launch after launch after launch after launch of the same garbage. It's completely garbage in and garbage out. And it seems to be never ending right now. And I cannot believe how so many can actually have the attention span to listen to these annoying, fake, rendered AI compilations. And after you listen to enough of them in succession, you will notice that they all repeat the same keywords and phrases over and over and over again, no matter where it's coming from or whose channel it is. Even those channels that use AI avatars, they're all using the same formatted phrase and templates. And it's probably because in most cases they're probably using some collective site where they're generating these data and these videos, which makes it clearly obvious. So it's probably something that's sitting higher in the food chain for AI content production than others are. But yeah, it's getting pretty nuts and annoying. And you know, if you look at a lot of the ads that are coming through, like on all these social media platforms, especially like YouTube, it's like it's unbelievable how they can constantly just bombard you with this nonsense. Okay, so let's move along to the bigger topic right now, and that is the current war situation with Iran, Venezuela, America, and everyone else. So what have we been seeing non-stop, right? Huge explosions, bombs, billowing smoke clouds, and we have all of these space feeds that are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, circling the Earth over the Middle East. And you know what I've noticed about these data feeds? You don't see any destruction anywhere where they're flying over, where you should see the skies covered in smoke. You don't see like any destruction anywhere over the lands. You don't see power outages in these areas that they're covering, and nobody's saying that. Nobody's noticing it. Nobody's saying anything about it. So, ask yourself the question: which one is fake? Are the live feeds, the daily feeds of all of the satellite feeds that are going down, that are seeing everything very close, are all the space feeds fake? Or is the war propaganda fake? I mean, I'm not going to say that there aren't things going on, but when you see some of the media that they're posting out on the internet of these massive, massive explosions that equate to like a volcano going off, why don't you see that when these space stations and satellites are out there filming on clear days and nighttime, where you actually can see the destruction? So which one is fake? I think everybody should ask themselves the question, why aren't they seeing that in these live feeds? Why aren't they seeing that in all of these live cameras that are all over the world where all of this is going on? Um, you know, I don't see anybody posting or talking about those facts. Why aren't these cams showing that data? Why aren't these space feeds showing that data? They're flying over it, so why don't you see the chaos and the destruction? They're certainly not stopping the space feed when they're going over the Middle East. Case in point being, like I just posted a a live feed from WhatsApp. It's probably pronounced "What's up," but obviously when the channel was created, it was "What's up." But with those live feeds, you don't see nothing. You don't see any smoke clouds, bombs, destruction, anything blanketing lands where destruction is going on. So I mean, and this is all current stuff. So I mean, what is going on? Is all of this stuff just to keep people busy and distracted? If you think about all of this, A.iiiii related stuff, there's so much controversy over that. There's all this stuff about everybody's alive, everybody's being protected. You see all these doppelgangers and clones and, fake masked individuals popping up. What's really going on here, man? It's like they got like this illusion-based perpetuated system that's just running rampant. You got like all this AI, generated content out there that they want to spoon feed people and make them believe it all. You got there's things that don't make absolutely any sense at all. Let's talk about this, right? You got all this stuff about the Muslims and what they don't like, but you got channels that are out here with tens of thousands or more of viewers, doing things like burning the Quran, and you don't see anyone from any Muslim community stepping up and saying one thing about any of that. But we got all of this stuff in these news feeds, all of this stuff going on with all this content in like New York City, where everybody wants to kill each other, but there's just so much stuff that just doesn't make any sense at all. And then you get some guy, some implant that pops up yesterday wearing some suit saying, property of Allah, and they want to go gung-ho, rampant. You get like all these outlets constantly pumping in fear, 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 fear. They're worried about like bombs and explosions. See, we still come back to the same circle every time we get every so many years into the same part of the game, right? Where the problem is still the same. Everybody wants to pick a side and, point the finger at somebody else. But, where is the actual problem? The problem still sits in Washington. It doesn't sit with the American people. It doesn't seem that anything that we're doing is a civilization, a human collective, is making any difference because, the elites are just voting themselves into everything. And then you got everybody that's out here in the game going, well, if we get rid of, Mr. T, that's going to fix everything. No, it's not, because they're all corrupt, man. They're all corrupt. They're all sitting up there, in their corrupted seat. And it doesn't matter if you get rid of Mr. T, it's still going to be the same thing. And they're still just going to point fingers and blame everybody for everything. So it's never going to end. The only way to end this nonsense is to wipe the slate clean and start over again with trustable individuals voted in by the actual people. But it's never going to happen because they're voting themselves in, and people are under the illusion that their vote actually counts. But it's all digitally controlled and operated by the opposition. They're all in the club together, and nobody wants to face the reality. Nobody's got the actual balls to stand up to any of this stuff that's going on, period. End of story. And I heard something real strange, coming out of ISR's mouth yesterday, saying that the reason that nobody gets access to ISR's nuclear facilities is because, somebody tried to wipe out their race once already, and that's the reason that they don't give access to anyone on the entire face of the earth access to their nuclear facilities, because somebody tried to wipe them out once. Well, a lot of people tried to go out and wipe out a lot of other civilizations, including, black people. But you don't see them, acting that outlandish. Humanity needs to, if everybody wants equality, humanity needs to learn how to function, on an equal playing field. And, stop making one person better than the other. But it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen because the corruption is so strong and is where it is. And until the slate gets wiped clean, it's never going to go anywhere. It's all an illusion. Security is all an illusion. All this cyber security stuff, it's all an illusion. The only thing they want to do is have all the control and have all the women at the end of the day, or the men if they're on the other side of the fence. I mean, dude, at the end of the day, it's all about, whatever their needs are that they're trying to keep going in, to let them play out their humanity-based, or whatever their race is, fantasy, while they're having their time on Earth on this third dimensional playing field. And I don't know what else to say beyond that, but it's unbelievable that they have released the e-files, and everybody can see that every single person is guilty. Every single person is guilty. And they still want to put their own people in, meaning people that are here in America and in other countries they still want to let their own people, meaning the people that are on their democratic or republic based side, they still want to let their corrupted people that are still in those files still take a seat in the office. What kind of nonsense is that? It's completely, I'm just going to say it, it's batshit crazy. Everybody wants to, scramble to some place and vote somebody in that's on one of those sides, but they're all paying each other off, man. They're all paying each other off. They're all corrupted. The slate has to be wiped clean, but how do you do it? How do you get it done? You know how the ancients generally wipe the slate clean? Just look historically at how the ancients have been wiping the slate clean. They just flood the earth and wash the ants off the surface of the earth and reboot and start humanity all over again. And if it isn't the ancients doing it, then we got to say that it's God's divine will that's doing it, because all we're seeing time and time again is greed dominating and taking over and doing sick, nasty stuff that can never, be abstained from, because all of the things that they try to tell you religiously that you should abstain from, they can't do it. And for many of the individuals that aren't even in the same league with those types of items, they're just desensitized. And generally that's what's happened once the exposure level becomes too great with everything. Whatever your fantasy is, whatever you can think of, whatever you can visualize, whatever you can see, the death, the gore, the maiming, all of the paraphernalia, the different religions, like everything, it's all, cannibalism, like, man, like everything that they can possibly put into a soup pot and desensitize you with, it's just done. So, like, the only answer is to wipe the slate clean, otherwise people have to learn to stop playing the game. The only way to win the game is to stop playing the game and advance your own consciousness. Freaking grab onto the light, hold on to the light, and spread that infinite light. Spread God's light. Because, it's insanity right now everywhere. And right now, like, you would think that, something would be coming good of many things, but no, man, they're running the same program again. Fear. Forget everything and run. Run out and buy something and put more money in their pockets. Forget about everything you're seeing. I mean, everything that's the concept of fear, that is the program that is running full blast right now. So, yeah. And on the subject of the AI is a tool, and it's great. It's great at mathematics. It can help. It can do a lot of things. It can do great decision making in a lot of cases. But when it comes to real work, it absolutely can't do it. It cannot do real work. And unless you're a software developer and working with AI like I am, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But if you can grasp it for a second, it's only good at creativity, but it is not good at doing real legitimate work without human supervision. And that's really all I wanted to say today. So I just wanted to come out and kind of do like a small podcast today and vent a little bit, because I think there's so many things that there's just nobody that's actually stepping up to the reality plate and saying right now. And it's just mind boggling. So, what better time than to come out and do a real shadow burn video and do something that nobody else is doing? you know, it's just strange times we're living in right now. And, you know, there's a lot of big channels out there and channels that were never big to begin with. But boy, I sure did get their channel blown up big. I mean, huge, massive, like thousands, way that just go way beyond what mine does. And that's not even important to me because, I'm really trying to just, float my ship a little slow on the waters and not create too many big ripples in the ocean. But I'm starting to wonder if a lot of those people that I've actually gotten a chance to meet have actually just been bought out. They probably are looking at me like I'm crazy, but actually I'm not. If I don't put a little bit of craziness out there, then it might actually attract more attention than I probably want to deal with right now. So I got to put a little bit of the crazy out there, because if you don't have a little bit of craziness, then you're probably not normal. Shit, you might even be a zombie. And I haven't gotten to the point of zombie yet, but I do always like to keep things a little bit real and share that with everybody. But I hope everybody is finding the light of God in these times, because humanity sure needs it. And I just want to say God bless everybody, and God speed the light to humanity, because I don't really know what's going on right now. But hey, I'm just here doing whatever the Lord's will is that I can possibly do at His discretion, because I'm not in control of my destiny. But I sure am enjoying whatever this life is while I'm able to experience it. And that's all I want to say is Godspeed, and God bless everybody, and keep shining the light for those who can't see it. And I'm going to end that and end this broadcast. Cheers.